Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make these sharks, which were designed by me. I know I said I was going to make a different tutorial in my last tutorial, but I ended up changing my mind because I found out it is Shark Week this week, and I just so happened to be working on a shark design the week before I knew it was Shark Week, and I thought it'd be fun to release a shark tutorial during Shark Week, in case anyone wants to make a shark this week, I guess. So yeah, I really love this design. I tried to make it look like a shark. And I don't know, sharks, I always think they have this like pointy head, and it took the longest time to figure that out, because these two are like the final version of the design, but I also had this guy, which was like an almost there version, but then I still had to fix some things. Yeah, but I really love this design, and I just wanted to make a tutorial for it. So, this design, band-wise, because I forgot to say band count in my last video, and then everyone was like, where's the band count? And I was like, it's in the description. If I ever forget to say a band count in a video, and it's like, one of my newer ones, it's in the description, I just always forget. So the band count for this guy, though, is for the top part color, it is 121 around there, and then for the bottom, it takes 45 bands. And yeah, the only other thing you're going to need for this guy is, once you get your bands, is you're going to need some eyes. You can either use black bands but wrap them around and then put them on a band, or, you know, safety eyes, whatever you have. And you're going to need a hook. You don't need a double-ended hook. I'm just going to be using my double-ended hook because I am used to this one. And, of course, you'll need a C-clip to mark your rows. I always nearly forget my C-clip, but then I have it on my desk, so that's nice. And, yeah, I think that's it. I have the pattern for the shark in the description. I don't know if I wrote it well because this shark is made a little bit weird, different than my designs. Also, I don't know if this is one of my easier designs because you do have to touch the fin, this fin, this fin, and this fin, but I don't think it's too hard, so yeah, I think that's it. So you're going to want to start with your shark color, like the top color, and to start, what we're going to do, you're kind of going to start by making a chain. Okay, I'm just picking up some bands before I forget. So, to start, what you're going to do is you're going to get a band, you're going to cap it on your hook, and then you're going to pull a band through the cap band, put both ends back on your hook. And for this design, you actually don't make like the magic ring or whatever. We start by kind of chaining a couple bands. So you're going to get another band and you're going to pull it through everything on your hook, and then you just put both ends back on. So you're going to make a chain, I guess, like a single chain. And you have the cap band, and then you have 2 more loops. And then once you've done this, we are going to start going around. So to start, we're just going to pull the band through everything on our hook, but this time we're going to make a stitch. So you put both ends back on, and then you push the back one over the front one. And then you're going to go back into that chain. You're going to put 2 more stitches. So you do the same thing, you pull a band through the loops on your hook, but you don't pull it through the last one. And then you put the back one over the front one, and then you put the loop from last time over too. We're going to do that one more time. So you go through the chain, and then you pull a band through that. Oops. And you put the back one over the front one, and you put the one from the last time over. And then once you have 3 stitches in this first chain, you're going to go into the next chain, and you're going to make 2. So 1, and then this one, 2, like that. And then after this, you're going to go into the cap band, and in the cap band, you are going to put 5. Sorry, I'm picking up more bands. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to use silicone bands for this design. I've never used them for Loomigurumi, but I wanted a sparkly shark, so that's what's happening. But they're a little sticky, so yeah. But yeah, you're just going to put 5 stitches in the cap band. So I just did 1, so I need to do 4 more. 2, oops, 3, 4, and then 1 more will be 5. And you can kind of tell you have 5. Like I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then once you've done 5, you're going to go back into this chain, but technically we're on the other side of it. And you're going to do 2 more. And then, once you've done 2 more, you're going to go into that last chain and you're going to add 2 more to it. So you're just going to put 2 more stitches. Okay, so once you have gone all the way around this thing, you should have 14 loops, I believe. So if we count, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Like that. So once you have 14, we're going to start doing rows, but the first row starts a little bit weird, so... And I'll show you where to put the sequel lip, it's just this row starts a bit weird. So, to start this row, we're going to go, instead of going into the chain, we go into this first loop here. But when we go in, we're going to chain, we're going to not make a stitch, we're just going to chain one on. So, you just pull a band through the loop, you put both ends back on, but you leave it here. So you just make a chain onto the loop. And now we're going to pull another band through the first 2 loops on our hook. And then we'll make a stitch with this one. So you put the back one over the front one, and you just make a stitch, like that. And we're going to put our C-clip on this band. And now we're going to go into this chain and we're going to do 2 more. So go back in, do 1, and then you do 1 more. Like that. And now we are going to go 6. So now we're going to go down 6. We're going to do the next 6 loops and then we're going to stop. Well, you're going to stop because we're going to make another one of these chains on the other side. Yeah. So make sure you go into the next loops. Like I can see this is the one where we chained, so you're going to make sure you want to go into the next loop that we didn't put the chain on. And you're just going to go down 6. So you're going to just do 6 with 1 stitch in the loop. So there's 1. You go to the next loop. You just put 1. So it's 2, 3, 4. 5, and then 6, and then after 6, like I said, you're going to stop doing just 1 in every loop. Now you're going to do the same chain thing that we did back here. We're going to do it right here in this one. So once again, you just chain 1, and I need more bands. Honestly, I have no idea how I'm gonna write this pattern down in the description, like, because the start's a bit confusing. Like, this is probably the most confusing part, and then after this it gets very, does it get repetitive? Yeah, it gets repetitive for a bit, and it's actually pretty easy from here on out. It's just this first bit is so confusing, and took me the longest time to figure out, because I wanted the shark's head to look pointy, and yeah, it just took so long. I probably had like 5 different versions of the shark, but yeah. So I finished picking up bands. Anyways, so we're just doing the same thing. So after you've chained the one, you're going to put 3 stitches in this. So let's just do the first one. So we go 1, then 2. Oops. Now you put 1 more, so it's 3. And then after you've put 3 in the band we chained on, you're just gonna go doing 1 in every loop until we get back to the C-clip. I still don't know if using silicone bands was a good idea because they're a little stickier, so I don't know how this is gonna work. But yeah. So once again, we're just putting 1 in every one of these loops until we get back to the C-clip. 1 stitch in every loop. Almost there. And then once you get back to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch and move the C-clip up. So that's, oops. So that is pretty much it for the confusing rows. Now we're just gonna be going around. Oh wait, I forgot to count. So after this row, you should have 18 loops. So if you count me, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So you should have 18 loops. But like I was saying before I remembered to count, so after this we'll just be doing 1 stitch in every loop, so we're not increasing, we're just doing, I think they're called single crochets in Loomigurumi, but I always forget to call them that. Okay, so like I said before, we should have 18 loops at this point. So now what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be going around doing 1 stitch in every loop, so we're doing single crochets, as I think you call it in Loomigurumi terms normally, and we're just putting 1 stitch in every loop until we get back to the C-clip, and we're going to be doing this for 2 rows, and after these 2 rows, after each of these 2 rows, you should still have 18 loops. I'm going to stay on camera to do one of the rows, and then I'll probably go off camera to do the other one. But yeah. So, just going around, going into the loop, and just putting 1 stitch in it. Oops. I hate that I pull my hook out randomly, like, I do this so much. So you just go into each loop, and you only do 1 stitch. And then you'll move on to the next one, and you just keep doing this until you get back to the C-clip. I kind of accidentally designed the shark in Shark Week. I didn't know it was Shark Week, and the only reason I found out it was Shark Week is kind of funny because my family, since like quarantine started, we've been watching a lot. Well, I've been watching a lot more TV because before I really didn't, because I always worked. And so, where was I going with that? Anyways, so we started watching this show that my brother and sister watched without me when I was working, and it's like Extinct or Alive. My siblings watch a lot of Animal Planet, and it's actually really interesting. It's fun, but the dude who has the show is doing a Shark Week special, and that's how I found out it's Shark Week, because we will be watching that. We haven't watched it yet. I don't know if it's out already, because I saw my mom like send me something. It was like Sunday, but it's now Tuesday, so I don't know if we just haven't watched it yet, but I'll be watching it. Yeah. Oh my god, there's so much glitter everywhere. Like, I just noticed these bands are so glittery. But yeah, I do think it's funny that the only reason I know it's Shark Week is because I'm watching that one show. It's a really good show too. It's really interesting. But yeah. My siblings and their Animal Planet shows, because they also have like, they watch River Monsters, which is like with this dude, Jeremy Wade, and I swear they've seen like every single show that dude has made. Which is fun. But yeah. I feel like that's why a lot of, like, I notice, like, a lot of my designs on this channel are also animal related, is because I have grown up watching so many animal shows and just, I don't know, loving animals, but I wouldn't want to get near them in real life. Like, I feel like I'd die on accident, I don't know. Yeah, I just noticed that a lot of my, like, I rarely, like, I think I only have one design out right now that's, like, not an animal of some sort. But yeah, once you get back to your C-clip, after doing one every stitch, you just move it up. And you'll do this exact same thing for one more row. I'm going to go off camera to do that row because I just don't want to stay on camera because it'll be kind of repetitive. But once you do one more row, just like this last row, and after this last row, you still have 18 in case you want to count. But just come back and we're just doing the same thing. Okay, so I just finished doing that other row, and I just did one stitch in every single loop until getting back to the C-clip. After this row, you should still have 18. So we should have done 2 rows in total of just putting one in every single loop going all the way around. So we should have done that for 2 rows total. And yeah, so now we are going to switch over to our white color. And I forgot to get it out, of course. But yeah. Also, I realized because I had to refilm part of this, because, I don't know, I filmed this once, and then I said do 3 rows, but it's actually do 2 rows, so my band count is slightly off, I realized. Which I'm gonna have to fix, but it'll probably be fixed in the description, but it's fine. Anyways, so the next row is going to be what I kind of call a half row, and what a half row is basically, wait, I forgot to fix this. Okay, so first thing is you're going to want to take the C-clip off the band that has a C-clip on it. I know I said go to the C-clip, but it's just easier to explain it this way. And you're going to undo that one stitch that had the C-clip on it. And we're going to switch that stitch to the color white. So just undo it, and then just do the exact same stitch, but this time do it in white. Like that. And now that we have switched this band to be white, we are going to be doing what I like to call a half row, which is basically just instead of grabbing the full 2 loops of the band, you're only going to grab the inner half, I guess, and then you'll just make a stitch. So like I said, instead of grabbing the full band, you just grab the front half, or the half that's towards the inside, and you're just going to do this all the way around until you get back to the C-clip. So you just grab that front part, or towards the inside, I guess is easier to say depending what you think the front is. So you just grab that part of the band and you just make a stitch. And you do this all the way around until you get back to the C-clip. There is literally so much glitter everywhere. I did not think these bands left so much glitter. I wanted to make a yellow shark too, but then I didn't, because I figured I should make a gray shark, because sharks are gray. But I wanted to make a yellow one. I might make a yellow one anyways, just because I want one. But yeah, so you're just doing stitches in only the front half of each band until we get back to the C-clip. It's just there's so many stitches, so it like takes me a second to go around, and I don't want it to just be like dead silence, so trying to talk about things. Yeah. This tutorial also is not going to be as long as I thought it was going to be, because I thought this was going to take much longer, but I forget that it kind of comes together quickly, or at least the body does. And I actually kind of have things marked for where you're supposed to attach things this time, so maybe that'll make it a bit easier. Once you get back to the C-clip though, you do not do a half row. You're just going to go through the full thing of that band, like the full 2 loops, and then you'll just make a stitch and move the C-clip up. Like that. So now we're going to be decreasing, I accidentally moved my instructions. We are going to be decreasing every 3rd stitch, and I'll show you what that means. So this will be 1, so then you just do another stitch in the next band, nothing different. And then in the next one, what you're going to do is you're going to grab that front part of the first loop, and then the back part of the next loop, and then you'll make a stitch, and that's a decrease. And we'll be decreasing on every 3rd, like I said, so you're going to do 2 just normal stitches. So 1, 2. And then on the next one, you'll do a decrease. Oh, also, I forgot to say, after the last row, you should have still had 18, because technically we didn't increase or decrease anything, it was just a half row. So if you wanted to count to make sure you could do that, I just forgot to say it, but now we're decreasing, so the number will be different after this row, and I'll remember to count. But yeah, so I just decreased, so once again, decreasing on the 3rd, so you do 1, oops, where'd that silver band come from? Do 1, 2, then you do a decrease, so front part of the first loop, back part of the next loop. You do 1, 2, then you do a decrease. Then once again, you just go 1, 2, and you're supposed to decrease on the one with the C-clip, so we're going to decrease. So you kind of just ignore the C-clip, you grab the front part of the first loop, the back part of the next loop, make a decrease, and then you'll just move the C-clip up onto this band. And after this row, you should have 13 loops, so we can count. So, oh shoot. Sorry, my, because I have my camera set up, it almost fell, and I was like, oh snap, but it didn't. So, like I said, we were counting. So if you count after the last row, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you should have 13 loops now. So if you count, there should be 13. But now we're going to be decreasing every other stitch. So we just did a decrease. So you're going to do 1 normal. And then the next one you do a decrease. Oops. Then you just do 1. And then the next one you do a decrease. And you just keep doing this until you get back to the C-clip. 1. Decrease. And it's getting kind of hard to see, like to show you guys what I'm doing because it's getting a little tight. So you do 1. Oops. And then you do a decrease. And then once you get to C-clip, you'll just move it up. And then after this row, we are going to be stuffing him. So you're going to get your stuffing, and I just realized I forgot mine. Okay, so I grabbed my stuffing. And so now you're just going to stuff him, and because we have the C-clip, you can just take your hook out, and then as long as you don't pull on it too much, the C-clip should hold it. So you're just going to stuff him. Hoping this is enough. I don't know if I overstuffed him now. It's just kind of hard to stuff on camera. Oh, I think I overstuffed it. Wait, I'm just gonna go off for a second to try to fix him. It's just so hard to stuff on camera because I can't really see what I'm doing. Well, I can, but it's just always more difficult than just off camera. Plus, I feel like I don't really need to show you stuffing him. It's not too complicated. Well, it's just stuffing it, so I don't know. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if he has too much stuffing or not enough stuffing. I'm just gonna leave him like this and hope I stuffed him enough, because I honestly think he might need more, but it's hard to tell. Okay. Nah, I think he's good. Okay. So once you've stuffed him, we're going to be doing our final row, which is decreasing everything. So every single stitch we do this row will be a decrease. And yeah, we're almost done. After this, we just have to attach everything, which takes a bit, but it's worth it because he looks so cute. So yeah, so once you finish stuffing him, you're just going to put your hook back through C-clip, and you're going to want to make sure that when you put it back through, all the loops are looking like they're going this way. Because I noticed that sometimes you could put your hook in backwards, so yeah. I also don't remember if I counted after last row, so after last row you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if you have one more or one less than 9, it probably isn't the biggest deal because we're just closing them up. So yeah, so we're just going to be decreasing everything till it's closed. So you just decrease every single stitch until you can't decrease anymore. And then I'll show you how to do that. So decrease. We decrease again. I also don't know if you can hear my family. I don't know what they're doing in the living room, but this camera does pick up a lot of audio, so yeah. Once again, we're just decreasing until we can't anymore. And at this point, you can take the C-clip out. I forgot to say that, because we don't need it. So you just keep decreasing. And then once you have the last decrease, what I like to do is I like to put the last decrease on my hook. And then instead of pulling the last stitch through just the decrease, I pull it through everything on my hook. And then I put the back one over the front one. And I pull tight. And then you just hide your tail. I could have stuffed him a little more, but it's fine. Okay, so after doing everything we did, you should have a shape that looks something like this. And I'll usually make this bit the front because you can tell this is the back because we have that odd band from where we switched colors. So I usually just go opposite of that, and that's his face. So this is his face. And usually the first thing I do is I attach the eyes because that's kind of how I figure where to put the wings. So I actually have an exact spot for where the eyes go this time. Usually I don't, and I'm just like, pick a spot you like. But for this design I do. So as you can see right here, there's like 2 bands in the front. And then there's one, and then another, and then that's where the eyes go. So if I do that on this guy, there's 4 bands right here in the front. So then an eye will go on this band. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and that band. So I'll just stick my hook underneath that stitch. And then I'll tie the eyes in. I'm kind of worried these bands are going to break because I've never really used silicone. And then you'll just hide your tails in from the eyes. Like that. So we have one eye. And then we're going to just look at the same thing. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the other eye goes right here. Just tie it in. trying to stay on camera, but I'm kind of going off, but I'm just tying the eyes in, so no big deal. I honestly always find the hardest thing to do on camera is tuck in the tails. In fact, most of the time after I turn the camera off, after I finish filming, the tails will all pop out because I didn't tuck them in that well. I'm bad at tucking tails in on camera. Like that. Yep, that's where the eyes go. Okay. So now, after I put the eyes on, the next thing I do is I'll do the wings. His fins, his side fins. I don't know why I called them wings. And we put the fins right by the eyes, so that's why I do the eyes first, because now I know where to put the wings. I'm just picking up bands. It just always takes a second. Okay. So, there's actually an exact spot for where we put the wings too. Let me just check something real quick. Okay. So, we're going to put the wings on these 3 stitches. The wings. I keep saying wings instead of fins. Oh my gosh. The fins on these 3 stitches right here. So you see 1, 2, 3. We're going to put them on those 3. So you're going to go into the 3rd one first. So the one farthest. And you're just going to make a stitch like you would. You go into the next one, you do the same thing. And then this last stitch should be the one right behind the eye. Just make a stitch. And then now we're going to just turn our hook around. We're going to do stitches in these 2 loops. This last one is not a loop, even though it looks like it is. You just go in these 2. So they're just the first 2. I also realized I was slowly going off camera. So you just go into the next 2, and you just do stitches. And then you're going to turn your hook around one more time. But instead of just going into these 2, what you're going to do is you're going to do it like a decrease. So you get the front one of the first loop, the back one of the next loop, and then you just pull a band through everything on your hook, and then put the back one over the front one and pull tight. And then you just tuck the tail in. Oh my god, it's so hard to tuck the tails in. I kind of go up through some of the fin, and then pull it down into the whale that way. Like that. There we go. And now we're just going to do the exact same thing to the other side. So, some stuffing by his eye. So once again, we're going to be putting it on these 3. So, the eye's on this one, so you go 1, 2, 3, and it'll be on those 3 stitches. So you start on the farthest one again. So you start on the farthest one. Put your hook under and you make a stitch. Then you go into the next one and do the same thing. And then, just like last time, the last one should be like very close to the eye. Like that. And then once again, we just turn our hook around. We do stitches in these 2 loops. And then after that, we'll turn our hook around one more time, but we'll do a decrease. We'll pick up the bands like a decrease, and then when we have the decrease on our hook, we'll pull a band through everything on our hook and pull tight. Like that. And then you just hide your tail. I think it's funny that my designs always have so much attaching, and I hate hiding tails. It's just kind of annoying. Like that. And if they don't look pointy, if you just kind of pinch them, or maybe you pulled in the last band too tight, that'll usually be what it is. Like on this one, I think I just pulled that last band down a little too tight, so it looks a little rounded. So if you just loosen it up a bit, it'll get more pointed. like that. Most of the time, if it doesn't look pointy, it's just because you pulled that last band in a little too tight. So now he has fins. So next we'll do the top fin. I usually do the tail fin last because it's like the one that is the most pain. It's not a pain, it's just, it was the most pain to design, so I do it last. Okay, I'm making sure I'm doing this right. So we're going to be doing kind of the same thing we did for the side fins, but we're going to be doing it on top of his head. And what that basically means is we're going to be going in 4 places, and usually where I go in is here, 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 and here, I think. So, like I said, so the first place we'll go in is, you can see, so like here's the chain we did, there's the cap band, and then here's this loop that's in the middle, and you can see there's 2 stitches. You're going to go in between that. And you'll just make a stitch, and it's going to be really tight. And then where these 2 connect, like the cap band and the chain, you're going to go in there. You're going to make a stitch. Oops. Go under it. And then going to go in between. So there's 5 loops on this one, but you're going to go in between the first ones, if that makes sense. Nope. Wait, let me show you. Okay, so there's the first stitch, the first stitch we did. You're going to go in between those, and you're going to make a stitch. And then the last place we'll tie into is going to be where the cap band and then the one we chain on connect. And that's the last place you go through. Like that. And then the same thing as we did last time, we're going to turn around. And we're going to put stitches in every single one of these 3 loops. So 1, 2, and then 3. We'll turn around again and we'll just do stitches in the next 2 loops. So 1, and then 2. And we'll turn around one more time and we do the decrease thing. So you pick up the decrease and then you pull a band through everything on your hook. Oops. I think I went too far through everything. Oh no. My decrease just came off in case you're wondering what happened. Oh, my hands are so sweaty. I'm just re-picking up the decrease off camera. And you just tie it, and then you'll tuck this in. It'll usually go towards the back to tuck it in. Oh my god, I can't go through this band. Yeah. And the top fin is just like the side fins, where if it doesn't look pointy, it's because you probably pulled it in too tight. Like that. And now he has a top fin. So the very last thing we're going to do is we're going to make him a tail. Oh, my hand kind of hurts from looming so much. Just making sure I know where to go in for the tail. And I think I do. Okay. So, where we put the tail is we're going to go in here. So, where we chained on that band, you're just going to go through that part of it. Wait, no. No. Okay, sorry. I don't think we go in there. We're going to go in front of those 2 bands that we... So you can see that there's a chain and then there's the 2 bands. And there's this 1 band in the front. We're going to go there. And we're going to chain a loop on, so we're not making a stitch, we're chaining. think I did it wrong. Attaching things is a struggle. Sorry, don't go there. You do go in back here. So where the when we chained on in the first bit we did connect, you're going to go in through that. And you're going to just chain one on, and then you'll make a stitch on top of that chain. Like that. And you're just going to leave it hanging there for a second. And then, making sure my camera's focused, you're going to go into a band just in front of it somewhere, and you're going to make a stitch. You can go in front of it anywhere. You're just going to make a stitch like that. And then you'll go back. Well, actually, no. Sorry, I'm going off camera, I know. Okay. So after you've just made a stitch in somewhere in front of it, you're just going to pick up that last stitch you just did, the loop that we have hanging there, and you're just going to add it on. Like that. And you're going to go back into that loop we chained on, and we're going to do 2 more, I believe. I was going to check, but I'm pretty sure it's 2 more. So you're just going to do 1, and then 2. So there should be 3 stitches in total in the chained loop, and then there should be 1 stitch that you did in front of the chain, and then 3 stitches in the chain. And now we're going to go somewhere in your shark, and you're just going to pick a spot, and you're going to pull a band through everything that's on your hook, and you're going to tie it. Oh shoot, my band snapped. That is what I was afraid of with silicone bands. They always snap easy. But yeah, so you're just going to tie it. Mine didn't tie because it snapped. Now it tied. Okay, so that's how you do the top part of the fin, and you do exactly the same thing on the bottom, for the bottom part of the fin. So I'm going to be doing that next. The fins, I always forget where to attach the back fin, so I hope it wasn't too confusing, but I don't feel like it was. So for the bottom fin, what I usually do is I'll just go right here. And we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to chain one on, and then we're going to make a stitch in the chain, and then we're just going to leave it hanging there. And then we're going to come up to this front bit here, in front of it. So why did I turn my whale around? And you're going to make, it's kind of tight, so you're just going to pick a spot in front somewhere. You're going to make a stitch, just like we did last time. It's blurry, I can tell it's blurry. So you're just going to make a stitch in front of where we chained. And then you're just going to pick up that loop we made. And then add it on. Like that. Then you're going to go back into this loop we chained and do 2 more, just like last time. Then you will pick a spot in your shark to tie it in. And then just tie it. And that is it. The tail is by far the worst part to do, like I said. It's just a little confusing. But sharks' tails go this way, so that's why you kind of can't do it when you're making it. And I usually just pinch it to make it look a little pointier. And that is it. So now you should have your shark. If you wanted to put cheeks in him, like I did with this guy, all you would do is you just get a band and you tie it by the eye, but you tie it kind of loosely and it'll look like a cheek. There's a different way to do like cheeks. But I think that is it for this tutorial. I hope you liked it. I hope your shark turned out okay. I hope I explained the tail bit okay, because I feel like that's the worst part. If you didn't see what I did, maybe instead of trying to do it along with me, watch it first and then try to do it. I feel like that'll work best, because sometimes I'm not the best at explaining, but I kind of show what I do. So I hope you like this tutorial. If you make any of the sharks, definitely share them with me on Instagram. I would love to see how yours turn out and if they turn out okay. Subscribe if you want to see more tutorials from me. I have so much stuff I'm working on. Like I said, I feel like I'm so behind on tutorials. But yeah, I think that is it for this video. And yeah, bye.